Let's be honest, guys. It's been a rough couple of months for the Ukraine cinematic universe. We had the big film that came out of nowhere that for the first couple days was making money hand over fist. Civil War, Wagner's March for Justice, which, like I said, it came out of nowhere. People were super excited. Everyone thought it was going to be a James Bond reboot called Wagner instead of Spectre, but they decided to release it as like an action movie. Unfortunately, they got M. Night Shyamalan to direct it, and the twist was much like the film Glass, there was no action scene. Like the trailer had scenes of Prigozhin and Putin like fighting on top of the Kremlin, but alas, that never happened. So what they were able to do though is they took some scenes from it, they edited it together to make Prigozhin's bizarre adventure, and that is going to be the next film. That is a comedy film, which is actually doing decent in theaters. It's not going to make back the budget. It is doing well enough. They're going to make a sequel, Prigozhin and Lukashenko's bogus journey, which is going to be set in Belarus. So we have that to look forward to. They tried to re-release Nord Stream for like the fifth or sixth time with it's like the super final directors editor's producer's cut, in which they added some more scenes in with the German government trying to figure the whole thing out. So that was re-released. Nobody went and saw it. It was kind of a mess. That was another flaw. We also had the damn disaster movie. I cannot pronounce it. Kakahovka Dam, the Nova Kakahovka. Damn, like I said, I can't pronounce it. They decided to make a low budget disaster movie. They got Roland Emmerich on to do it, and it didn't really go anywhere. The writing was just like people just complained the writing wasn't believable. They're like, why would Russia blow up their own dam inside of like their own territory that they claim as part of the Russian Federation? Like, what would they have to gain by it? And the explanation was just that Putin's evil, and people were like we've dealt with this before. We need more from our villains. The villains in the Ukraine cinematic universe are just like they're just disappointments. Um, so that film also flopped. But these were all just kind of side things. The summer tent pole, well, originally the spring tent pole was going to be Spring Offensive. It was the biggest film production of all time. You had money coming in from American companies, European companies, some Asian companies. Most expensive movie ever made. Unfortunately, it was plagued by production hell. The people who were doing the logistics behind the film were incredibly corrupt. There's scenes where you can tell that there's no lights because they forgot to buy light bulbs. People are passing out on set from a lack of water. And when the time came finally to release the movie, which they had to rename to Summer Offensive because it got delayed so much, the distribution team completely screwed the pooch, and it only got released into a couple theaters. They're trying to get it released in more theaters, and it's gradually spreading a bit. But the studio behind the Russian cinematic universe sent someone to bootleg it and upload it to torrent sites, and that's really going to hurt the potential ticket sales. And it's such a disaster. The reviews for it are so bad that the director is walking away from it. The director is saying, you know what, not only is this not even my movie, but this isn't a movie. There is denial about the entire existence and future of the Ukraine cinematic universe. That's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. It's become such a disaster, the director is walking away from it. And here's the director right here, Zelensky, on the counteroffensive. This isn't a movie. I can't tell you what you'll see, but you'll feel it. It's like Top Gun. Like, you might not see what it's like to pilot. You get the experience of feeling like you're piloting a jet. This is a movie. It's difficult for me to say how you will see the counteroffensive. The main thing is that Russia sees the movie, in that it doesn't just see it but also feels it. And we mean the troops that have occupied our territory in particular. The results of the counteroffensive is the liberation of our territories. When that happens, you'll know it's happening. So directors walked away from it. And they're going, look, guys, we tried the comedy, we tried action movies, we tried war movies. We're gonna have to try something completely different. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a sci-fi movie. We're gonna make a monster disaster sci-fi movie. I have some concept art. This is in Zaporizhzhia City. There's some Russian helicopters flying around, and this film is going to be called Baba Gojira, the Terror of Zaporizhzhia, and I think it's an interesting idea. So basically, the premise of this film is going to be that there is a nuclear power plant that is under the control of Russia, the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which is in a territory that they have annexed and that they claim to be part of the Russian Federation. And Russia is going to decide to blow it up. They're going to blow up their own nuclear power plant. Why? That's kind of one of the things that we're hoping is going to be revealed when this film is presented. Some people saw an early screening and they're like, why would Russia blow up their own nuclear power plant? It doesn't make any kind of sense. It's in like the territory that they've claimed to be part of Russia. If they were going to blow up a nuclear power plant, wouldn't it be in Western Ukraine? But that's not how this works, okay, guys? The motivation here is that Putin, the big bad of the Ukraine cinematic universe, is evil. So he's going to blow up this power plant, and Zelensky and the West and Lindsey Graham and all these different people have been saying for like weeks now on a daily basis, Russia's going to blow up that nuclear power plant. They're gonna blow it up. Like, look, Zelensky's saying right here. Um, Zelensky says Russia has planted explosive on Ukraine's nuclear power plant. And this is something that they've been saying for weeks. Now, people are saying that this is a very convenient timing to announce this movie because in a couple of weeks we are having next week we're having the Vilnius summit. And this is the annual meeting of NATO. And it's pretty much been confirmed at this point in time that Ukraine is not going to get into NATO. So some people are saying it kind of defies belief a bit that like, we have this upcoming summit where the whether or not the West gets more involved in the Ukraine Russia war is going to be decided, and we have these threats about this nuclear power plant potentially getting destroyed, and we have U.S. senators like Lindsey Graham saying that if this power plant gets destroyed by Russia, it's going to be an attack against NATO, and we're going to have to go to war over it. I don't know. It seems a little sus to me that these things are all going on at the same time, and there's not really a motivation. Russia has planted explosives on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant to simulate an attack. Ukraine President Zelensky has warned. Oh, come on, just out of character. Had to simulate an attack. It's just such a like. Do we have any pictures of this? Is there any or did he just say it? Like, it's simulated attack. Has warned as an alert was issued for evacuations in the event of a radiation link. Mr. Zelensky said on Tuesday that why are they using a Mister? It should just be Zelensky. We're modern and progressive now. The Russian forces are planning to commit a new evil after their alleged attack on the hydroelectric power plant last month, citing intelligence. Now, we have information from our intelligence that the Russian military has placed objects resembling explosives on the roof of several power units of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. We have evidence, like this is the vaguest shit I've ever seen. We have evidence that they placed objects. You know what like an explosive looks like? I know these are probably kind of small, but like explosives just look like boxes, like metal boxes or stuff like that. So like what they saw them putting like metal boxes or crates or something on the roof of the nuclear power plant, and we know that that is explosive, and we know that that is enough explosives to destroy a power plant with a very thick concrete shell. So it's but like this is the most legit thing I've ever seen. They're perhaps simulating an attack on the plant. They're filming a movie for the Russian cinematic universe. Um, and they're planning things that could be explosives. They could be deck chairs. They could be anything. Possible evacuation in the event of an explosion at the plant. It comes as the Kremlin says it is taking measures to counter a threat of some kind of Ukrainian sabotage of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters the consequences of such sabotage could be catastrophic. The situation is quite tense, willingness to do anything. So the question is like, once again, okay, so said Ukraine is planning to drop an ammunition laced with nuclear waste on the power plant. Okay, so I've heard about this. There's going to be some sort of G-slur op that's going to go down. So the theory is that the power plant is too well protected and too because nuclear power plants have very thick concrete shells to keep the nuclear energy in, and Ukraine doesn't really have large missiles, so they can't really do that. So what the plan is going to be is they're going to put a dirty bomb together using fissile materials from other plants, or like maybe the US gave it to them. It's going to be like the sum of all fears. And they're going to use this dirty bomb and pretend that the dirty bomb is the power plant melting down. So there's not going to be a meltdown. There's going to be a dirty bomb that's going to create radiation, and everyone's going to go, "Wow, Russia blew up their own nuclear power plant. We got to intervene directly." And Lindsey Graham's going to be like, "I told you guys, we got to go into this war." And a lot of people are critical. They're saying that this plot is like retarded. It sounds like something that like a high schooler would come up with. And to just go out of care, like that is literally what the claim is. So the two claims we have here are that Russia is going to blow up a nuclear power plant. It's that it controls within its own territory that they consider to be part of Russia. That is a core part of the Russian Federation. Um, why? I don't know. They're just going to blow it up because Putin's evil. Most of the fallout will probably come within Russian territory and impact Russian citizens. Once again, you might wonder, why aren't they blowing up nuclear power plants, if there are any, in Western Ukraine or the areas they don't control? I guess just Putin's that evil. That he's that evil and he's that irrational that he's going to blow up a nuclear power plant next to like other Russians. Okay, so that's the plan. That's the plot according to the Ukraine Cinematic Universe. The Russian Cinematic Universe version is that they're gonna strap together like some crappy dirty bomb and fire it and detonate it and then pretend that it was actually the plant melting down, even if the plant doesn't melt down. And like no one's going to be able to confirm this. The US is going to be like, look, Russia blew up the nuclear power plant, and Russia's going to be like, no, here's a live feed from it. Um, Here's a live feed from the nuclear power plant. It's pretty obvious that the plant wasn't destroyed, and then Mary would be like, "No, well, this bomb went off. Let's get this party started." And once again, this whole thing is conveniently happening. They're talking about this. It's become a big issue 1 week before the big NATO summit. And at the big NATO summit, NATO's going to decide what they're going to do. So some people might say that in the event of this big NATO summit coming up and Ukraine being told that they're not going to be able to get into NATO, that they might have the incentive to launch a false flag attack in order to take up all the news at the NATO summit, especially given how much of a flop the Spring Offensive movie was. So I don't know. The whole thing is just insane. Like I do these videos and I say all this stuff about the Ukraine cinematic universe and things like that. But I mean, doesn't this seem like something from a cinematic universe? Like we have nuclear power plants now, and it's gonna like merge into Baba Gojira. and Baba Gojira is gonna like level Ukraine, and it's like there's gonna be a sci-fi disaster nuclear meltdown movie. And this is like what we're supposed to believe. So um, I pray to God that it doesn't that shit doesn't happen, because that's going to be really bad for the entire world, not just the Ukrainian Russian people, but it's just a mess. From my understanding, Russia's been shutting the plant down as much as they can. So hopefully, even if it does get hit, it's not going to be that damaged. Which also raises the question: if Russia is going to blow it up, why would they be deactivating it? I don't know. It's another interesting question. But God bless everybody. Watch Baba Gojira, The Terror of Kherson. I mean, of Zaporizhzhia when it comes out. God bless everybody.